It should come as no surprise to my friends and viewers that trading card games have always had a very special place in my heart. In this series, both Raikourider and myself will be opening 24 packs or one box of a core Yu-Gi-Oh set. Every week we will add an additional core set to our collections, moving in chronological order. We will use these cards to create a deck and then face off against one another in a best 2 out of 3 match, with the winner receiving 2 prizes to upgrade their deck, while the loser receives 1. These prizes can range from wild cards, to sealed product, to starter decks, and more. Every card that has been released will be available to us at least once. However, we cannot rest on our laurels. Between the ever-evolving nature of the Forbidden and Limited list, the cards that we ourselves choose to banish into the Shadow Realm, and even the way the very rules of the game will change, will keep our decks and our duels fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. Well, another game, another win, and that one honestly went a little closer than I expected, but I'm happy with how it went. Unfortunately, there is something to address coming up, and that is going to be something that's going to change the format for us. Which I'll start by explaining our new set, and then I'll go into that change. So this is Magician's Force. This was released in October of 2003. This set is notable for introducing 2 specific things. The first is it introduced the Amazoness archetype, a group of female monsters that are warriors and have different effects based on, like, they're focused basically on battle. So, for example, Amazoness Fighter here is a common, or more accurately, a short print common, that has the effect that you take no battle damage from a fight involving her. So we have other Amazons in the deck that are lower rarity and a couple that are a bit high rarity, and they're all very good, and this is a good beatdown deck. The other notable thing they introduced was spell counters to this game, which we'll use Pitch Black Power Stone as a good way to explain what that is. Spell counters are a type of counter that get added to certain cards whenever you activate a spell card. Or in the case of Pitch Black Power Stone here, it gets 3 spell counters when it's activated. Generally, you use these spell counters to initiate certain effects. Sometimes you can use them to destroy spell and trap cards. Sometimes you can use them to draw cards. Basically, there are a few cards that can make use of this as a resource. It is a very gimmicky set of cards. It is a very gimmicky concept, but if you build it well enough, it can be interesting. So let's give a quick run through of some of the key cards here. We already mentioned the Amazon's Fighter and the Pitch Black Power Stone. Scrolling through some of the commons, Giant Orc is a good 2200 attack monster. It's basically Goblin Attack Force, just 100 points weaker. Second Goblin, this is actually a set that introduces the Union archetype, the Union monsters as well. And what that is a set of monsters that can equip themselves to specific monsters and utilize themselves as equip spells. So for example, Second Goblin here can equip itself to a Giant Orc and act as an equip spell. While it's equipped, it can actually change the battle position of the monster once per turn. The idea is you equip Second Goblin to Giant Orc, attack with Giant Orc, and then use this card to switch it back to attack mode. They actually have a bit of a small archetype of monsters in this set that rely on that mechanic, but they're all higher rarity, so we're probably not going to be seeing them. Scrolling through, Roulette Barrel is a funny card. You can roll a die twice, once per turn, and destroy a monster on the field whose level is equal to one of the rolls. It's extremely risky and it's a big gamble card, but it's also got a 2k defense, so if nothing else, it's a good wall. Kaiser Coliseum, this card is the bane of most players' existence because this thing is a rolling's nightmare. If there's one or more monsters on the field that the controller of this card has, then the opponent can't play another monster on the field if they would exceed the number you control. Which means that you couldn't summon, like if you have one monster on the field, your opponent can't do anything that would let them have 2 monsters on the field. but if there are cards already on the opponent's side of the field, then they're not included. So if you have one monster and they have two, they can still have their two. They just can't say add a third or tribute a monster to summon a monster. That would leave two. It is a whole list of nightmare rulings, so Konami decided to just ban this card entirely, and honestly, depending on what happens with this, we may end up doing the same later. Autonomous Action Unit is actually kind of interesting. You could pay 1,500 life points to take a monster your opponent a monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it. The only downside is, if this card gets destroyed, the monster gets destroyed too. So, kind of a risky play, especially if you're paying 1,500 life points to get the monster, but it can be something interesting. Scrolling down here, Wave Motion Cannon is a really big spell card. You activate it, and later down the road, you could send it to the graveyard and deal 1,000 damage to your opponent for every turn that has passed. Technically, we put counters on here for the sake of keeping track. However, it does not actually take counters. So, something like, say, Counter Cleaner will not work with this card. Or rather, it will not it will not stop this card. Rivalry of Warlords is a good Floodgate card. Both players can only have one monster type on the field. Pretty good way, like, if you're running a deck that is based entirely on one type and your opponent is not, this is a good way to help shut them down a bit. And then we have Sonic Duck and Great Angus for basic beaters. Old Vindictive Magician's a good monster. It's basically a Spellcaster version of Man-Eater Bug, and it's common now, which is nice. Royal Magical Library lets you have a 2k defender, and if you activate 3 spell cards, you could draw a card, effectively. Magical Merchant lets us search for a card. When it's flipped, it lets you mill from the top of your deck until you hit a spell or trap, and then add that to your hand. Magical Scientist. Anyone who's played old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Knows this card, and is going to dread what I'm going to talk about here. You could pay 1,000 life points to special summon a level 6 or lower fusion from your extra deck, and it can't attack your opponent directly, and it gets sent back to the extra deck at the end of the turn. You can use this more than once per turn. If you have Catapult Turtle, and get Magical Scientist out as well, there is actually a chance you can OTK your opponent. I don't have Catapult Turtle, and I'm pretty sure Rai does not have Turtle, so thankfully for us, we don't have to worry about that just yet. But if this becomes a problem, we're going to have to figure a way around it. And then, scrolling a bit more, the only other thing I see is My Body as a Shield. You could pay 1,500 life points when a card effect activates that would destroy a monster you control, and you could destroy that, negate and destroy that card. So pretty good card, but again, bit of a hefty cost. So scrolling up here, we're going to go ahead and look at the rares real quick. Dark Blade's an 1800 warrior, so pretty good in general. Dark Core is actually an interesting card. You could discard a card and then target a face-up monster on the field and banish that target. So it's actually pretty good for removal, just it is a pitch. You have to pitch a card, so it's not as great as it could be. Death's Koala is a good monster. 1800 defense, and then when it's flipped, your opponent takes 400 damage for every card in their hand. I am expecting Rai to have this in his deck if he's playing Pac-Man, simply because this is going to do a lot of burn. And then Apprentice Magician is actually an interesting card. This one, when it's summoned, you could put a spell counter on a monster on a card that can get a spell counter on it. That's not the effect we care about, though. If this card is destroyed by battle, you can special summon a level 2 or lower Spellcaster from your deck, face down defense. What that means is, if this gets destroyed in battle, you could bring out an Old Vindictive Magician, or, what we're probably going to do, a Magician of Faith, which is a really good card. Like, that's a really good way to set up in a combo, and it helps protect your life points in the process. Scrolling up here, we hit the super rares, and this is where I was talking about those Union monsters. We have X-Head Cannon, Y Dragon Head, and Z Metal Tank. These guys are interesting on their own, but they're not very useful for us, because you have to have all three in order to actually make full use of the archetype, and with them all being hollows, it's going to be tough. Spell Shield Type 8's a kind of good card. If your opponent plays a spell that targets one monster on the field, you could destroy that card and negate it. and if your opponent activates a spell card, period, you could discard a spell from your hand to negate and destroy it. Which, it is a bit of a minus in that regard, but at the same time, if your opponent's playing something really important, and you need to shut that down, it's a good way to go about it. Skill Dark Magician, I can see Rai wanting this one because he has Dark Magician in his pool. If you get 3 spell counters on this card, you get tributed to summon a Dark Magician from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Skilled White Magician has the same effect, but for Buster Blader. And Tribe Infecting Virus, in my opinion, is the best super rare here. It's more than once per turn. You could discard a card from your hand, target any type of monster you want, and destroy all monsters of that type. So if your opponent's running a deck of all warriors, drop this card, dump a card to call warrior, and your opponent's field goes boom. Really good card. And 1600 attack's actually not that bad either. Scrolling through some of the ultra rares, again, we have some of the XYZ related cards, and again, we're not really going to want to see those. Really, there are only 3 ultra rares here that I think are good. Luster Dragon's a 1900 attacker in general, which is alright, but it's going to get matched later. Amazona Swordswoman's actually an interesting card. Any battle damage you would take from a battle with this card gets sent to your opponent instead, which is actually kind of nice, because if your opponent has something massive, like if Rai has, say, his Trihorn Dragon on the field, we could just summon her, ram her into that dragon, and then he's the one taking 1300 damage. Now granted, we do lose the Swordswoman, but if it's enough to finish out a game, that's all that matters. Finally, we have Breaker the Magical Warrior. This is hands down the best ultra rare in the set, and probably the best card in this set, if I had to be honest. When it's normal summoned, you can place a spell counter on it. It gains 300 attack for each spell counter on it, and you can remove that spell counter to destroy a spell or trap on the field. Now, in general, that's already pretty good. 1900 attack when it's summoned, and you could MST a card, essentially. However, with Pitch Black Power Stone, you have 3 spell counters there, and once per turn, you can move it from a spell counter from that card to another monster. So Breaker could get that effect more than once. And note, Breaker's effect isn't once per turn. So, if you have Power Stone already on the field, you can actually play this, pop a card, add another counter, and pop another card, which is really nice. And then scrolling up here into the secret rares, both of them are kind of meh. Diffusion Wave Motion only matters if you have a level 6 or level, I want to say it's level 7 or higher Spellcaster. Let's see. Yeah. So that you pay 1,000 life points, target a level 7 or higher Spellcaster you control, and then that turn, it has to attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and the rest of your monsters can't attack. But it negates any effects of monsters that these attacks will destroy in battle. So that's not bad, but we don't have a monster to work with this. Rai does, but I highly doubt Rai's going to want to play this. And then we have Dark Magician Girl, which, yeah, we know that's the waifu material for a lot of people, but for us, she's not really all that useful. But hey, if you pull that in real life, you're looking at almost $1,000, so there you go. So before we move on to the next step, we need to address bans. So, if you caught the tail end of the last episode on Rai's perspective, then you know what I'm going to be discussing here. We have decided to set in place a mid-season ban system. So at the middle point of each quote-unquote season of Yu-Gi-Oh!, as well as the end point, we're going to have a handful of bans handed out to us, where we pick a card and basically we banish that card entirely. So, what this means is, we had 5 cards to pick for this set of bans. Rai lost, so he got the last match, so he actually got 3 because of the fact that we were fairly balanced with our matches, and I have 2. So Rai got to go first, and he chose to ban Imperial Order, which, to be entirely honest, I do not fault him at all. This card is a really strong card. This card is very, very floodgatey, and to be entirely honest, I didn't expect Imperial Order to last very long anyway. So, to put it in his words, this card helps shut down Pac-Man, and he did not want me to have to deal. He did not want to have to deal with that. So I don't blame him there. Now, that led to my ban, which was Nobleman of Crossout. The reason I played this is because even though he only has one, we are looking to try to balance the format and meta, and right now we're going to be focusing very heavily on flip effect monsters. So if Nobleman of Crossout's in play, and he hits a Magician of Faith, both of us lose every Magician of Faith. If we hit a Magical Merchant, we both lose Magical Merchant. So this is something that kind of makes it tougher because you either have to not play those cards, or you have to find a way to make sure he doesn't get the chance to hit them. Now there are other ways to destroy the face down monsters, but we figured this way it'll be you destroy one monster as opposed to 6 monsters. So with that, Rai had his next ban in mind, and he chose to ban Fairy Box. Now, we only use this once. However, he pointed out that his deck with Mahavilo is kind of offensive, and this card itself shuts down offense. Or more accurately, it makes people not want to attack at all. So, he wants to have it at least in the sense of, if we're going to react, we have to have reactive traps as opposed to proactive traps. Which honestly, I don't blame him for that one, and like I said, I only used Fairy Box once so far, so I'm perfectly content with this getting banned. And this led to my next ban, and final ban for this set, which is Snatch Steal. Really, the reason for this one is probably a personal hatred of this card. I like the concept of it, but it is definitely broken, and Rai pulled this. He pulls this almost every single time he gets a chance to play Magic Ruler. So, I wanted this card out of the equation immediately. So, that's my second and last ban, and then for our third ban, Rai picked King Tiger Wangu, which actually kind of surprised me because that was something that was introduced in the last set. However, he pointed out this deals with Pac-Man pretty much perfectly, and by setting this into the banish realm, then he can at least play his Pac-Man, whereas I have to find a way to deal with Pac-Man now, which is understandable. But with that being said, now we have to go back into what is generally the actual progression series, or the actual limited list. So, and this time around, it's the August 2003 list. Since Magician's Force came out in October, the next list after this will be November. However, the August list actually changes a couple of key things for us. Specifically down here, Graceful Charity gets limited to 1 copy. Granted, I only have 1 copy, but even still, that can make a difference later down the road. Mirage of Nightmare gets put to limited. I don't believe either of us has that. Reckless Greed goes to limited, which is kind of depressing because this is a good card in general. Ring of Destruction gets limited. That one hurts me because I have 2. Rai only has 1, so that actually doesn't impact him. And then finally, Limiter Removal and Backup Soldier are both unlimited. However, as far as I'm aware, neither of us have either of these cards, so I don't think that's actually going to make a difference for us. But with the changes in place, we're going to go ahead and get to the pack opening. Alright, so 24 packs of Magician's Force. Let's flip the first pack and see what we get. And, ooh, okay, this is actually not a bad start. A copy of Wave Motion Cannon, so that's good to be good. And a copy of Autonomous Action Unit. Now, whether or not we're going to actually use this card, I don't know, but Revival is always a good option to have for us, so this is a good start for us. Alright, My Body is a Shield, and Rivalry of Warlords. Pretty good start, pretty good second pack. Dark Blades here too, that's pretty nice. And Miracle Restoring. Okay, this is actually that we're not going to make much use of, but this is something to worry about for Rai potentially. You can remove 2 spell counters from your side of the field, and then bring back a Dark Magician or Buster Blader in your graveyard. As far as I know, I think Rai has a Buster Blader. I know he has Dark Magician. So if he actually wants to do this, he can, and that's a bit concerning. Okay, so first holo of the set, and it's Y Dragon Head. Not quite the card I was hoping to see, but I guess that's something. Granted, it's kind of useless without the other pieces. But second, my body as a shield, so that's pretty nice. Oh god damn it! We hit the secret rare Dark Magician girl. Ah, man, I'm not gonna use that. I mean, granted, if we could, I guess it could be a side deck option if Rye ends up going the Dark Magician route, but come on, man. Well, at least we also hit a Magical Merchant, so that's a nice little pickup. Hopefully, hopefully we get a couple more of that. Okay, so second wave motion cannon. We have 3 Amazoness Paladin now, which is actually pretty good. I didn't think we'd hit 3 of them that quickly. And an old Vindictive Magician, which is also pretty good. So, first third of the set, pretty good look for us. Hopefully we keep on trucking with that. Well, there's the boy. Magical Scientist is here, so I guess we have that available to us if we want to try it, but really I don't know what we're going to use that for otherwise. Okay, here's a good set, a good pack, and thank goodness, because we were on a bit of a dry spell here. Okay, so Amazoness Fighter, that's our first one, that's nice. Old Vindictive Magician, that's our second copy. Our third My Body is a shield, so that's good. And finally, Spell Shield type 8. This is going to be an interesting little surprise for us. And Rye may not expect that, so if we could get that on a big Floodgate card of his, that could be nice. Okay, so second Spell Shield type 8, which is actually really good. Also, I didn't even notice this earlier. We have 3 Meteor Rain now, which is really good. During this turn, when your monsters attack a defense monster your opponent controls with the higher and their defense is lower, this actually gives your monster piercing for the turn. And this gives all of your monsters piercing for the turn. So if he's really running Pac-Man and we can find a way to break through his barriers, this actually could be a really good trap card. Alright, coming up on the last few packs. We haven't seen a whole lot aside from those spell shields, but can we hit anything else that's really good? This one looks like not really. That's a bit disappointing. Okay, so let's see if the next pack has anything better for us. Ooh, that's still not any good. I mean, that's a... Honestly, no, there's nothing really good here. Everything that is good, we've already got playsets of. Alright, so last pack, let's see what we can hit. Come on, something good, something good. And it looks like we kind of whiffed on that as well. Well, that's a damn disappointment. Oh well. Well, we got what we got, so let's go ahead and get into deck edit. Figure out what we're going to do here. Okay, so this is going to be the deck we're bringing for today's duel. And you might realize, just looking at it, it's kind of Oonga Boonga. And the reason for that is, yes, it's very much Oonga Boonga. Unfortunately, we do not have enough to we don't have enough to build a cohesive strategy in terms of archetypes or plans. So we're going to go with basically good stuff.deck. The goal here is going to be just try to overrun Rye and his monsters and see what we can do with that. So let's go through the card by card. First off, we have 2 Amazoness Paladin. They gain 100 attack for each Amazoness monster you control, so basically if you summon it on the field on its own, she's 1800. If you have both of them on the field, they make themselves 1900. That's pretty good. Cyberjar is here. Once again, Cyberjar pretty much searches everything in our main deck so to summon except for the Blue Eyes. We will get to that in a moment. 1 copy of Exile Force, just to help remove any problematic monsters. 2 Magical Merchant. We are running a 20 and 20 line here, and so we should probably be able to get a monster, we should be able to get a pretty good Speller Trap here to work with. 2 copies of Magician of Faith to help get our spell cards back if we need them. 2 Old Vindictive Magician, again, monster removal is going to be good. 1 copy of Sandgan. Sandgan is actually not going to be as useful here. However, it can at least pick up the Cyberjar, Sinister Serpent, Exile Force, Merchant. It could pick up roughly half of our monsters. And Witch of the Black Forest here could pretty much pick up every one of our monsters, with the exception of our Blue Eyes. So that's why they're here. Sinister Serpent, again, we're going to have a few cards for discard fodder, so we're hoping to bring that back. 3 7-colored fish, we need 1800 bodies for attacking, 3 Dark Blade, and we also have our Blue Eyes White Dragon. For the spells, we have Graceful Charity, just to help cycle through. We have Heavy Storm, that's going to help clear the back row. Our newly given Monster Reborn. This is actually going to be part of why I have Blue Eyes White Dragon in here as well. We're going to have cards like Graceful Charity. We're going to have cards that discard. We're going to have ways to lose our card. So, if we could get Blue Eyes into the graveyard and reborn it back, then that's actually good for us, because it'll save us the hassle of 2 tributes. And if worse comes to worse, we could always 2 tribute over it anyway, because if he's playing Pac-Man, he's not going to be attacking us. 1 My Body as a shield, just in case he's going to have something like that to deal with our field. Pot of Greed, Raigeki, same as usual. 2 Rush Recklessly, again, getting an extra attack boost is going to be nice. 1 copy of Swords. This is probably not going to be as useful, but this might be cited out later, but at the very least this can help disable Pac-Man slightly, or at least set it back a turn for him. 3 copies of Wave Motion Cannon. This is going to be mostly to try to clear up the game once we get a few holes punched in. For the traps, 1 Magic Cylinder in case he's actually back on offense. 3 Meteor Rain. This is the card that's making us all go Unga Boonga. So, during this turn, when your monsters attack with an attack that is higher than the defense of your opponent's defense monster, you deal the difference as battle damage. So this gives all of my monsters piercing for the turn. So if he's playing Pac-Man, this thing is going to let us fuck him up real good. 2 copies of Raigeki Break. Similar thing, discard a card, destroy a card on the field. So we could pitch the Blue Eyes, or we could pitch Serpent, pop anything on the field. 2 Spell Shield type 8 for if he's going to play any of the stally spells. We could probably afford to pitch a spell card to negate something like Vengeful Bog Spirit, and then if he tries to play something to hard target a monster, then we can at least counter it for free. For the extra deck, it's the same as usual. We're not really going to mess with it. For the side, we have 2 8-Claw Scorpion. If he's playing Pac-Man, this plus Meteor Rain can be holy crap. 1 Dark Magician Girl. The only reason she is in here is because if he is going to run anything with his Dark Magician, because I feel like that might be a possibility, she can at least get a little bit of power from that. Now, granted, she's not going to be able to outpower the Dark Magician in a vacuum. However, if you combine, say, Book of Moon with that, you could beat over it once it flips over, because she'll be 2300 attack to his 2100 defense, or Rush Recklessly can make her go up to 3k, so she could actually beat over the Dark Magician if necessary. Well, or rather, that'll be if they're in the graveyard. If it's on the field, then yeah, she's actually going to need she's absolutely going to need Rush Recklessly, but still. But if it's already gone, that's good. 2 Mask of Darkness, because if we really need to hit Meteor Rain more than 3 times in a game, this can help us search it back, but I'm hoping we don't have to. 2 Zambira the Dark. Again, it can't attack directly, but it can hit over monsters, and with Meteor Rain, that could be a big boost. Book of Moon, just in case he's more on hyper offense. Cold Wave is in case he is going to play something stally, or he's going to have stuff to react. We could use that against him. 1 copy of Dark Core. We discard a card, target a face-up monster, banish it. Again, we discard Serpent, we discard Blue Eyes, we banish a threat. Simple as that. Got the 2nd My Body just in case we need it. And then 2 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole, because we don't know if Raya is going to be playing anything offensively. If he's playing Pac-Man, this card is pretty much dead in the main, so we're actually going to stick it in the side. And then the Ring of Destruction, just in case we need it for a big boom. So with that, that's going to be our deck, and hopefully we can take Raya down with this. I doubt he's going to expect something like this, but we'll see what happens. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to duel.
So I think that this is the first set that has so much power at low rarity. It's nuts how many good commons there are in this set.
Oh, absolutely. Like, this is one of those sets where you almost don't even want to see hollows for the most part. Now, granted, there are still a couple of really good ones, but like this is definitely one where you don't feel too bad if you whiff.
Well, it's more. I mean, there are powerful rares too, but most of the power in this set, honestly, is a common.
Oh, definitely.
Got there.
Finally
Yeah.
got one.
Yeah, I'll take the play. Good luck, duelist.
Good luck.
All right, draw for turn. Stand by main. I'm just gonna set a monster and pass.
Alright. Draw. Standby, main. I think I'm gonna go ahead and follow suit. Though I think I'll add a back row too.
All right, draw for turn. Stand by main. I will set another monster and pass.
Riveting. Alright, standby main. Ooh.
I mean, it's Magician's Force. This is to be expected.
Yeah, fair enough. Alright, I think I'll start by activating a wave motion cannon.
Not surprising.
Then... how far do I want to push? Yeah, what the hell, let's go for it. I'm gonna run out and exile the force.
You got it.
I will pitch it
What you
and
gonna
pop this one.
Oh, you got a good one.
Ooh, morphing jar. Nice. So let's see what else you got. I'm gonna fire off Monster Reborn, targeting my exile force.
Okay.
And then I'm
pop
just
this one too.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and pop that one.
Sure, it's a Sandkin. I'm gonna grab. What do I want to grab here? I'm going to get a koala.
I had a feeling. Yeah, I had a feeling you were gonna make use of that. All right, so I'm gonna flip summon.
It's a good card.
I'm gonna flip my witch, and let's go ahead and hit for 11.
Sure. Draw for turn. Stand by main. Boy, that is a scary, scary card. I'll fire it.
Unsurprising.
Go.
Alright. Draw. Standby, main. So that's one turn on the cannon.
It is.
I think I'm going to set a monster and pass.
Alright, draw for turn. Stand by main. I'll go ahead and flip up this desk wall and you can take 800.
Alright.
Then I'll set another monster. Go ahead.
Alright. Draw. Standby. Another turn. And main.
Those cannons are good.
I think I'm going to run out my Amazoness Paladin.
On the Amazons, okay.
I'm going to flip up my old Vindictive Magician and pop your face down monster.
It was another Desk Koala.
Alright. And battle phase, I'm going to go ahead and crash our
Crashed them.
monsters.
Yep. Yep.
Which means I get to search. Let's see. What do I want to go for? I think I'm going to search for the merch.
Merch is good. Merch will merch.
And I will pass the turn.
Draw for turn. Stand by. Main. I gotta think about this one. I don't like this too much, but I think I have to go this route. I am going to bring out Magical Scientists.
Oh.
Is the summon good?
Summon is good.
With priority, I'm going to activate Scientist.
Okay.
Now, the one caveat is I can't actually attack with the thing that I summon because
of your bog. Yeah.
Because of bog. But I do have something cool I can do. I'm going to special summon my Flame Swordsman. Then I'm going to activate Metamorphosis, tributing the Flame Swordsman.
Not bad. Not bad.
I'm going to summon my Reaper on the Nightmare.
Whoa, wait a minute. So you pulled one. Oh, I see. So you're creating a wall. That's actually not a bad idea.
And then I will pass the turn.
Alright. Draw. Stand by. Another counter. Main.
I like the utility that it has right now, but really once we get more extra deck mechanics, it just becomes too strong.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm going to go ahead and set a monster.
Like, oh, here's the Succeeds monster.
Can be anything. Battle, I'm going to go ahead and ram into your Scientist 1800.
Yep. That's the thing that I didn't want to do.
Main phase 2, I will go ahead and switch to defense, and I will set a card.
Alright, draw for turn, stand by, main. Can't deal with the cannon. I just can't deal with the cannon, is the problem. I think this is my best bet. Go!
Alright.
I really want to start attacking with this thing, but you have a wave motion cannon is the problem.
Main. I guess I might as well. Let's flip the merch.
Yep, merch gonna merch.
Oh, that kind of hurt. Okay, that doesn't actually... Well, I guess I'll just pass. If you don't have a way to deal with it or get your life points up, then I win next turn, so...
By my anime protagonist powers, I will Harpy's Feather Duster to the top of my deck. Nope. Okay. As I thought.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that one at all.
So the problem with game number 1 is other than the Vengeful Bog Spirit, I drew pretty much all monsters.
Mm. So let's see what you got.
Alright, draw for turn. Stand by main. I'm gonna set a monster, and then I'm gonna set 2 back row, and I'll activate Bog Spirit.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Alright, so I draw.
During your draw phase, I'm gonna Secret Barrel for 12.
Ooh. Alright. That actually makes this even funnier. Alright. So, let's see. Well, I will set a card. I will activate with Cannon.
You got it.
And I will set one and pass.
Alright, draw for turn. Stand by main. I'm gonna flip summon my Mask of Darkness.
Ew. Okay.
I'm gonna pick up my Secret Barrel. Then I'm going to set another monster and another back row. Could be anything.
Could be anything.
And I will pass my turn.
I think during the end phase, I'm gonna Raigeki break. I will pitch my body as a shield, and let's go after the back row.
Yep.
Alright, draw.
That's a good play. Charge your laser.
Room. Okay, so let's see what we can actually do. The Bog Spirit actually kind of messes things up a bit here. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and run out a Dark Blade.
Yup.
And I will pass
That's
the
a good
turn.
card. First thing I'm going to do is put Mask in defense, then I will set a monster, and I will pass my turn.
Alright, draw. Stand by. So that's turn 2. Main 1. Well, I guess I might as well flip my Magician of Faith now. So
Yep.
I will go ahead and get Pot of Greed.
Yep.
And I will fire off Pot of Greed.
You got it.
Ooh. One into the other. I like that.
Seems okay. Clearly, it was my mistake taking Scapegoat, but Scapegoat's also sick, like stupid
Oh yeah,
good.
sick. Scapegoat has a lot of good uses. Let's see. I think I will pitch 7-colored fish and I kind of feel like I'll pitch my Cyberjar. I don't necessarily like that, but... Then I'm going to summon out my 8-Claws Scorpion.
Still on 8. Still on 8-Claws Scorpion, I see.
And then I'm going to activate Raigeki.
That's really good.
And... So... This is the only one I can actually attack
Well,
with,
let's get this out of here first.
Oh, alright, fine. Main 2, I will set a card, and I will pass.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. Cool, I drew Pot of Greed finally.
Oh, nice.
Not too happy with what I got, though. Boo, 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 boo. I'm gonna set a back row and pass.
Alright. Draw. Stand by, main.
3 counters.
3 counters. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and switch my Magician to defense, and then I will run out a Witch of the Black Forest.
You got it.
Battle. I'll poke for 3.
300 in.
And your turn.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. I think that wave motion cannon's getting a little too big for comfort.
Oh, that's depressing. Because not only did you get my wave motion, you actually got my meteor rain.
Oh, you're playing meteor rain? Interesting.
Yeah.
That's actually really good synergy with the 8-Claws Scorpion. I like that.
Oh yeah, it tells Pac-Man to eat shit. Pretty good too.
Oh, it does, yeah.
I was kind of hoping to not show that off just yet, but kind of forced my hand.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like not in a vacuum, but with the 8-Claws Scorpion specifically.
Oh yeah.
Turning that into a 2400 piercer is so good.
All right, so let's go ahead. I'll attack into.
It's the Cyberjar.
Oh, okay.
That's not bad. Another meteor rain, huh? So you have a paladin and a dark blade, spell shield type 8. Okay. I got some nice cards too. Hang on. There we go. You got 2 dorks that can't attack.
Yep. Unfortunately. Now, since it turns out we actually were misunderstanding Cyberchar, you can pick them up and shuffle them around if you want. Because it turns out that's actually a thing. We just never knew about that.
Sure. I'll go ahead and do that.
Alright. Main phase 2. Well, I feel kind of content just setting a few cards because I know you don't have Moth face down, and you've already spent your Feather Duster, so...
Yep. Draw for turn, standby, main. I'm gonna go ahead and fire Burning Land.
Okay.
Then I am going to set. Sure, let's fill up the whole back row. I'm gonna set a couple.
All right.
Not afraid of heavy storm whatsoever.
Standby. I will
Please
take
take 500 damage.
Main 1. Alright. I will run out a Amazonas Paladin.
Sure.
Also, it just occurred to me I never got my Witch Search, but well.
You should just resolve that now.
Okay. I guess I'll just add my Sinister Servant.
Because that is something you have to do.
Oh, right, because it's mandatory.
Yeah, figured. Yeah, Witch's effect is mandatory.
Alright. So... we're gonna go ahead and fire off the Meteor Rain now.
Yep.
So... let's go 19 into this one.
That was the... that was... I am thinking on attack declaration. That is fine. That was the Apprentice Magician. I will take 1100.
Well, actually, you're gonna take 800 more, because damage step, I'm Rush Recklessly.
Oh, just 7 more? Okay,
Yeah,
got it. Sure. I'll take 7 more.
And then Dark Blade will go ahead and ram into the Moth.
Nah. Nah, I can't let you attack that.
Fine. Main 2, I'll set a card, and I will pass. Does put you in a bit of a predicament, though, because even if you flip Moth, you can't actually play it. You can't play the spell.
I'm aware. I want to see what I draw first. Draw for turn. Standby, main.
Don't forget your
standby,
500.
take 5. Hang on. 500, yep. Main. Anyway.
I was gonna say, I'm not the only one that has to play Hotfoot.
So here's what we'll do. I am going to... flip up my... Oh, not destroy it. I'm going to flip up my Magician of Faith. I'm going to get the Feather Duster back. Then I am going to Raigeki Break, discard this old Vindictive Magician to target your Paladin.
Alright, that resolves.
Then I'm going to Feather Duster.
And in response, I'm going to activate Spell Shield Type 8.
Oh, Spell Shield type 8. You
I will
got
pitch
it.
my Monster Reborn to
that
negate that.
I'm perfectly okay with that. That is perfectly fine. Because that means my follow-up play gets through, and you're not gonna like it too much.
Oh? Oh, wait. Oh, no.
That is the reason why I am playing this deck.
Oh, crap.
Let's go ahead and... I'm gonna just suck up your Dark Blade.
Alright. Ooh, this is a problem.
So now Heavy Storm doesn't answer this board. Go!
Draw. Stand by.
Now I do need to say this for the record. I chose this over Monster Reborn when I had the chance.
That's just nuts. Like, I mean, granted, I don't blame you at all. This is a freaking... This is a hell of a card. This was banned for years for a reason.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this card is nuts.
Well, I guess I will just set a monster in defense and pass the turn. Because there ain't much I can do right now.
Draw for turn. Stand by.
Take your
I'll take my damage. Main. I'll just pass.
Alright, draw. Stand by, I will take 500. Main. Oh, thank God. That is probably the one card I could have needed the most. I'm gonna run out Exiled Force.
Oh, that definitely outs the restrict. Yep. That outs the restrict.
Question is there anything else I can really do? Well, I guess I might as well kind of help a little. I'm gonna flip Old Vindictive and pop your back monster. And
Got
then...
it.
I guess that's all I can do this turn.
Yep. Draw for turn, stand by, I'll take 5. Main. Set a monster and pass.
Stand by, I will take 5.
This is what the deck is supposed to be doing when it actually gets attack floodgates.
Oh. Oh, wait a minute. I think I might have something, but I'm gonna need to check a ruling real quick. Alright. So after a quick rules consultation, I'm going to start by activating Meteor Rain. Any response?
Yep, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I'm going to activate Heavy Storm.
I misplayed so bad. I misplayed so badly.
Any response?
This doesn't even help me now. This doesn't even help me. Yep. I'm not even gonna activate it.
Honestly, that you not activating it might have actually saved you. Because, buddy, I'm tributing my 2 monsters
Oh, you have
for the legendary Blue Eyes White
Oh,
Dragon.
you have a Blue Eyes.
Yeah, remember from the video game promos?
Yep.
So yeah, you're kind of lucky you didn't activate Scapegoat, because that would have actually lost you the game.
I go to 200.
If that would have been an old
Right,
Vindictive,
draw.
that would have been so fucking punishing. But it was worth it.
It would have been, yeah.
It would have been worth
Draw
it
for turn,
anyway.
stand by, main. Well, considering that there were already 2 in my graveyard.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's true.
I gotta think about this one. I gotta think about this one.
Alright.
I'm going to set. Oh, you know what? You've used him. Boy, if I can stabilize this, it'll be something else. Demon, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just letting you. I'm just letting you think through. Oh, there we go. It was It wasn't like showing you playing anything. I guess Dueling Book's kind of lagging for me.
He must have disappeared.
Hello? Hello? Did I crash? Did I crash? What the hell?
Internet trouble? Might be internet trouble.
What's going on?
Oh, now I can.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. That was odd. Like, I don't know what's going on with that. Because it didn't show you play anything until, like, at some point, and then it just dropped everything all at once. I think I'm just
Well, now
lagging.
I can't. The heck? What is going on here? Maybe one of us is having internet trouble.
I think it's not that.
Alright. Anyway, back to the game.
Alright. Can you hear me? Guess not. Crud. Okay.
Now I can see you moving. Now you're back. Looks like.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't know what... I think my computer's just not handling it all right now, which is kind of odd, but... Alright, I'm gonna run a 7-colored fish. And, blue eyes for the defense.
I do have the other one.
Of course you do.
I do have another Gravity Bind.
Alright, pass.
There is a very good reason this card gets limited eventually.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pass.
Alright. I guess I'll pass.
Draw for turn, standby, main. Pass!
Oh my god. Oh no,
Yep,
and I
control
could
deck
deck
doing
out
control
too.
deck things.
Oh no, I could deck.
You could.
That's not good.
Go!
Ah, god damn it.
Yep.
That would be good otherwise, but
That one. Go!
are you kidding me? Hold them back to back.
Alright, draw for turn, standby, main. Pass!
Standby main. Alright. A monster. Set a card and pass.
I am going to, at the end of your turn, I will activate Secret Barrel for 1600.
Oh god.
Draw for turn.
Scary. Now it's scary.
Standby, main. I have a feeling that might be a Magician of Faith you have set, so I'm actually going to go ahead and flip the jar.
Oh man. Alright, fine.
Hey, that'll work.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Alright, let's see.
Get that out of here.
Damn it. Damn
Get that out of there. You have 2 Spell Shield?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so that's 1.
A-Claw Scorpion isn't bad.
2.
That's 2.
3.
3.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you want those merchants. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't exactly get a choice.
Yep, they all get set. Then I'm going to, since I haven't summoned yet, I'm going to set another monster, and then I'll set a back row. And that will do.
Alright. Draw. Standby main. God, do I even have anything? Where the hell? Oh, man. Okay. Well, I'm gonna flip Old Vindictive, pop your face down. What I'm assuming is the Magician of Faith.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna flip this. Let's hit your monster.
I am going to activate Raigeki Break here. I'll discard this Dead Burning Land. And I'm going to kill your 8-Claw Scorpion.
Okay. Main 2. I'll pass. There's nothing else I can do at this point.
Draw for turn, standby, main. I'm going to It's my turn. It's hard to say without knowing what's in your deck list, but I feel like I've stabilized.
Yeah. Alright, set a card. Pass.
Alright, draw for turn. Stand by, main. I'm going to set one more monster and pass.
Draw. Stand by, main. Alright, well, I have one more Magician of Faith. Let's see what...
You do have another Magician of Faith.
And I'm just gonna skip all pretenses, I'm gonna pull back my Raigeki.
Yeah, that'll get there. That'll get there. Good match, dude.
Dude, that was so
I thought
goddamn
I had
close.
it.
Like, I couldn't remember worth the life of me if I had another Magician in here still or not.
I was thinking about prohibiting Raigeki for that exact reason. I just didn't want to do it. So I was digging for a secret barrel.
I had a feeling. So what was your other face down?
I was digging for my third secret barrel. There it was. So this was a Princess of Tsurugi, which you played around really nicely, because if at any point you had set another back row, I was going to kill you.
Yeah.
I figured you were not. Yeah. I figured you were playing around it. Both of these were jars.
Yeah, that would have messed me up right there.
At that point, I was almost just on the mill plan. So my Magician's Force opening was god-awful. Absolutely god-awful.
Yeah, mine wasn't exactly, like, amazing either. Like...
No, I can guarantee you it's better than mine. So there were two cards that I wanted to open more than anything in this set. And it was just horrible. I wanted to open more than anything else Wave Motion Cannon, My Body as a Shield, and Big Bang Shot.
And let me guess, you didn't pull any of them, did you?
I got one My Body as a Shield. That's it.
Ouch. See, I hit 3 My Body, and I hit 3 Wave Motion. I didn't end up hitting any Big Bang, which kind of made me sad. But, like, honestly,